What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video talking about the 2019 Mr. Olympia once again, and we're going to dive into the biggest disappointments of the show. Guys who we thought would probably bring it and win the Olympia wasn't even close, and they didn't even make the top 10. It was actually quite a shocker where some guys actually landed, because I know a lot of predictions had certain guys in the top 5, top 6, top 10, and those guys didn't even come close. Like, they missed the mark so bad. And talking about the very first guy who missed his mark was Luke Sandoe. Now, this was his very first Olympia. I don't want to knock him. I don't want to ding him. I don't want to be too harsh on him. He actually showed up in relatively great conditioning, in my opinion. He was not super off, but he placed 11th in this contest when he was a guy who was talked about cracking that top 5, top 6 spot, and he looked great. But when he walked out, and he turned around from the back, you can see his glutes were a bit soft, hamstrings weren't greatly detailed, and his back was not completely detailed as well. And that kind of hurt him, because if you saw him early in the year at the Arnold, that physique was a top 6. Like, that physique, his Arnold physique, could rival not anyone top 6, but he could rival for that 4th to 6th spot in this lineup. But he just did not bring what he needed to bring to solidify that spot for him, thus landing him in the number 11 spot. And honestly, prep is hard. Like, he's been dieting for, I believe, more than half a year, because he competed at the Arnold. He competed at a couple other shows in between the Arnold and the Olympia as well. So he's been dieting throughout. I think he might have taken a couple weeks here and there off, but for the most part, this man has been eating clean, holding conditioning from the Arnold, which was in March, till now, us being in September. He probably started dieting for the Arnold around late December, early January. So that's a lot of time to be dieting, a lot of time to be, in a deficit. So his body probably just needed a break. It's probably best to do the one show, try to win, and then, try to hold off on dieting, kind of give yourself a break before prepping again for the Olympia. But his conditioning was not where it needed to be to land him in the top 10, pretty much less the top 6, because he placed 11th at this contest. But once again, his first Olympia, I don't want to ding him too bad. It is what it is. Now, the second disappointment of this entire show, we're talking about Cedric McMillen. And it's not a surprise, honestly, that he didn't bring it. Every year we talk about Cedric bringing it. If Cedric just brought his conditioning, this would be the year that he wins the Olympia. If Cedric brought the frigging hard granite Dorian Yates type of dryness, it would be lights out for everybody. And it would be. He could beat Phil, he could beat Kai, he could beat everybody. He has all the muscle in the world. He has an amazing structure. He is tall. He has everything he needs to be the best in the world, except conditioning. When this man walked on stage, and he didn't even need to flex, he just stood there, I was like, wow, this is another year where Cedric just didn't bring it, didn't try, didn't really push it, didn't really bring his A game. To be honest, Cedric looked like he was 5 weeks out. He was soft in a lot of poses. His legs were not separated. His midsection was a bit washed out. From the back, his glutes were not detailed, not diced. Hamstrings, somewhat detailed in the hamstring department, but for the most part, not on the level of the top 5, not on the level of the top 6. And I've seen him better when he won the Arnold. The Arnold in 2017, I believe, was his absolute best package ever. But this is just a shadow of that physique. Back is somewhat cloudy, not a distinctive Christmas tree. He just didn't bring it, and it's so disappointing, because we look at this guy and we see the potential. Like, we see what is under the layers of fat and water that's left over, and we can see that he has the Olympia physique to be number 1 for the next 2, 3, 5, maybe even 10 years. I mean, he's an older guy. I don't know about him being a 10-year Mr. Olympia at this point in his career, but he has enough in the tank to win a couple. And every single year we hope he shows up, and it just does not happen. It's happened once in his career, and even then he was like maybe 90% of what he actually could be. So Cedric is a big disappointment. Just didn't bring the conditioning, just did not bring that dry, shredded, grainy look. And honestly, it's expected at this point. It is what it is. I don't think anyone expects Cedric to really come in, unfortunately. I wish that was the case, but he's just not one of those guys known to really bring anything other than, great posing and a great pleasing physique to look at. But in terms of being an Olympia champion, you need to be on another level. You need to be on that Dorian Yates level, Ronnie Coleman level, Phil Heath conditioning level. Like, you need to be the hardness of Dexter Jackson in 08. Like, you need to bring these elements to rival these guys to potentially win, and he doesn't bring it. He doesn't bring it. So talking about the very last disappointment of the Olympia is going to be Roelly Winklaar, and a lot of people had this guy being the winner in their top 5 predictions. A lot of people were saying Roelly's going to win, Roelly's going to win, Roelly has it. And honestly, I was one of those people as well who said Roelly has a massive opportunity to win. And this is probably his best opportunity to be a Mr. Olympia champion. But he landed in the 5th spot. And I don't think anyone had him number 5 in their predictions. Everyone had him first, second, or third. Roelly was either going to be number 1, number 2, or number 3. This man landed in the 5th spot. And why? What happened? He walked on stage and he was watery. He was watery. You can see he was visibly holding some body fat in certain areas. He really wasn't that dry at all in certain shots. His quadriceps were not split down the middle. His glutes were not completely in. His hamstring and glute tie-in was a little bit to be desired. You know, he did have slight sagginess on the lower half at the end there. Lower back detail just isn't there. He has lower back potential, but he needs to be just peeled as shit to see it. Roelly just didn't bring it. Roelly looked like he was 3 to 4 weeks out. You know, he needed to do a bit more cardio, maybe pull the carbs, maybe pull the fats down a little bit more. Spend another hour in the morning doing some more cardio, do more Stairmaster. I don't know. He needed to push himself a bit more to get to that level. He didn't do it. He didn't bring it, and it was a missed opportunity. This man has all the tools in the world to beat everyone in this lineup. He is pound for pound, based on his height, the biggest guy in the lineup. Easily, no contest. He's massive. He just needs to be peeled as shit, and he didn't bring it. And it's disappointing because Roelly's like a Cedric. We know if Roelly comes in, it's lights out for everybody. There's a couple guys who can do this. Roelly's one of them. Cedric is one of them. Brandon is one of them. And that's kind of it. Kai Green is one. Phil Heath is one. Sean Roden is one. Like, if these guys come in 100%, it's lights out, game over, no contest. He's a winner. Walk on stage, one pose, walk off. People see you won. But Roelly just didn't do it. And it's a big opportunity missed because this year we have no Kai, we have no Phil, we have no Roden, we have no Rami, we have no Flex Lewis. Like, this is the best shot for someone to come make a statement. And I feel like he was the guy to make that statement, but left the door wide open and Brandon came in and, you know, took it. He wasn't even in the top 3 conversation, so it is what it is. Another disappointment of the Olympia there. But guys, that's my top 3. Let me know down below what is your top 3 disappointing predictions or disappointing outcomes of the Olympia, not including classic, not including physique, not including 212, just talking about specifically open. So down below, guys, let me know what you think, guys. So hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.